People always ask me, when did you know something was wrong? And I used to think it was that Tuesday morning, the phone, the messages, the revelation. But the truth? The truth is, I'd known for months, maybe longer. I just didn't want to believe it. That's the insidious thing about betrayal. It doesn't show up overnight. It builds itself slowly, brick by brick, excuse by excuse, until one day you're standing in a house of lies and wondering how you didn't notice the construction. Let me paint you a picture. 3 months before the final day, we went to dinner. One of those places she'd been wanting to try. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, menu items you can't pronounce. She spent the entire meal on her phone, texting, smiling at the screen like it was telling her jokes I couldn't hear. I asked who it was. "Just Sarah," she said. "She's going through something." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We'd been together for years. We'd talked about marriage, about kids, about growing old on a porch somewhere, boring our grandchildren with stories about how we met. You don't question the person you're planning forever with. You trust them. That's what love is, right? Wrong. Love isn't blind trust. Love is earned trust. There's a difference. One is naive. The other is built on consistent behavior, on patterns of honesty, on a track record that proves itself over time. I was giving her blind trust. She was giving me practiced deception. 2 months before the final day, we made love. Afterwards, she cried. Real tears this time, not the manufactured ones from that Tuesday morning. I held her, asked what was wrong. She said she was overwhelmed at work, said she felt disconnected from herself, said she needed to find her way back. I stroked her hair and promised her we'd get through it together, that I was her home base, her safe harbor, safe. There was that word again. Even then, she was using it, testing it out, seeing how it fit in her mouth before she said it to him. What she didn't tell me? She'd seen Marcus that afternoon. They'd met at some hotel downtown, the kind that rents rooms by the hour and doesn't ask questions. She'd been with him, then come home to me and cried in my arms about feeling disconnected. The betrayal had layers. It was an onion of dishonesty, and every time I thought I'd reached the center, there was another layer waiting. 1 month before the final day, she started picking fights. Stupid fights, the kind that don't make sense in the moment. I didn't do the dishes right. I worked too much. I didn't work enough. I was too attentive. I was too distant. The goalposts kept moving. I couldn't win because I was never supposed to. The fights weren't about me. They were about her guilt. They were about creating distance, building justification for what she was doing. "You just don't get me anymore," she'd say, and I'd scramble to understand. I'd try harder, plan dates, write notes, show up in all the ways I thought she needed. But you can't love someone into loyalty. You can't effort your way past betrayal. I was trying to solve a problem I didn't create. I was taking responsibility for her choices. That's what they do, the betrayers. They make you feel like you're the problem, like if you were just better, smarter, more attentive, more exciting, they wouldn't have needed to find it elsewhere. They rewrite history. Suddenly you were never good enough. The relationship was always broken. They've been unhappy for years. Convenient, isn't it? How the narrative shifts to justify the unjustifiable. 3 weeks before the final day, I almost caught them. I came home early from a business trip, wanted to surprise her, stopped and got her favorite flowers, the ones that cost too much but smell like summer. I opened the door quietly, planning to sneak up on her, make her laugh, but I heard voices. His voice, deep, unfamiliar, coming from our living room. I stood in the hallway, frozen, my heart hammering so loud I thought it would give me away. They were talking about meeting up later, about how careful they needed to be, about how it wouldn't be much longer. I should have walked in, should have confronted them right there. But I didn't. I backed out of the house, sat in my car for 20 minutes, then made noise coming in the right way. By the time I got inside, he was gone. She was reading on the couch like nothing happened. "Hey, you're home early," she said, all surprise and delight. "Everything okay?" I told her the trip ended sooner than expected. She kissed me, asked about my day, acted like she hadn't had another man in our home minutes earlier, and I played along. God help me, I played along, because acknowledging the truth meant blowing up my life, and I wasn't ready. So I chose comfortable lies over uncomfortable reality. That's what fear does. It makes cowards of us all. 2 weeks before the final day, she told me she loved me. We were watching some movie neither of us cared about. Her head on my shoulder, my arm around her waist. Comfortable, easy. Then out of nowhere, "I love you. You know that, right?" I said it back. Automatic, reflexive. But something in her voice bothered me. She didn't sound like she was telling me. She sounded like she was trying to convince herself. Like she was testing the words to see if they still fit. They didn't. They'd been too stretched out of shape, worn in places they were never meant to go. 1 week before the final day, I had a dream. I was standing in an empty room. White walls, no doors, no windows, just me and my echo. I kept calling her name, but she wasn't there. In that dream logic way, I knew she was supposed to be there. This was our room, our space, but I was alone. I woke up gasping, reaching for her side of the bed. She was there, sleeping peacefully. No nightmares for her, no guilt interrupting her dreams. I watched her sleep and wondered if she dreamed of him. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just destroy the present, it infects the past and poisons the future. Every memory becomes suspect, every plan becomes impossible. You start living in this weird purgatory where you can't move forward because you don't trust anything, and you can't go back because you now see all the signs you missed. The morning of the final day, before I found those messages, I woke up and looked at her. Really looked at her. And I realized I was already saying goodbye. Some part of me had known. Maybe for weeks, maybe months. My subconscious was ahead of my heart, preparing for an ending my conscious mind refused to accept. The phone just made it official, but the architecture of deception? That had been under construction for half a year. I just wasn't allowed to see the blueprints until the building was complete, and I was standing in its shadow, wondering how I'd lived in darkness for so long without noticing the sun was gone.